Today I am sharing 4 secrets to meeting great guys offline. No dating apps required. So I know that dating can feel really draining. It can feel exhausting. It can be really frustrating, and you've probably experienced things like this. You've probably experienced men who don't really ever move the conversation offline or take the initiative to move the conversation offline. You've probably experienced being ghosted after what seemed like a really good, genuine connection. You've probably experienced conversations that turn sexual way too soon, way before you're ready, and before you even actually know each other that well. And you've probably experienced just like having to carry all the effort, right? Like having to be the one who sort of moves things along. So I want you to understand it's not you, it's the environment sometimes. And offline dating is absolutely possible. People have been meeting and falling in love and getting married and starting families since way before the internet ever existed. Of course. Can that be you? Yes, that can be you. Of course it can be you. Hey, Crystal. Hi, love. So yes, for sure. So let's jump right into it, because what's important for you to understand is it's actually sometimes easier to date offline because it can be kind of natural. It can feel really natural once you learn how to shift your energy and your mindset and where you're spending your time, right? It can be a little bit easier. Some of us are really great at being online, and others, it just feels good to be more face to face, Thank you, love bug. I love this color blue too. Thank you. So let's jump right into it, okay? The number 1 secret is your mindset. And I'm going to go over that really quickly and easily, because it's just a little bit of a shift in mindset that's really helpful and makes a big difference. So it isn't about you getting better at kind of pursuing, right? That's not what it's about, right? You don't have to pursue. It's really a mindset shift into self-love and self-expression, even though that's not how it would seem, right? It's kind of hard sometimes to make a connection between how does me loving myself lead to me meeting more people? And I'm going to show you that. So basically, this mindset shift is really important, because when you are ignoring your own needs, your own desires, and those kinds of things, you're not practicing self-love. Practical self-love is for you to pay attention to your needs and your desires and getting those things met, right? And when we don't do those things, we are sending a message out to the universe that says, you know what? I don't think I'm even worthy of investing time in loving myself. I don't think I'm deserving of my own love, so you don't have to send any love to me. Right? So we need to make that shift, because making the shift from not practicing self-love to practicing self-love makes us naturally magnetic. It really taps into that natural magnetism, because you're naturally magnetic. Have you ever felt that? Like you can kind of tell. You're like, inside, I know I'm amazing. And it should not be this hard, that feeling, right? That feeling that tells you that. It's true. So these are some things that are going to help you really tap into that and embody that magnetism that is naturally yours. So what we want to do is we want to actually begin to fill our lives with things that we love. So that's the mindset shift, is filling your life with things that you love. It seems like it's kind of counterintuitive, because it's like, well, I'm trying to focus on dating. I'm trying to focus on bringing another person into my life, and I feel like that is the thing that's going to make my life better. Actually, what we're trying to do is help you create a life that you love, and then you can invite someone to join you in it, someone who enriches your life in really lovely ways, And that's beautiful too, because when we are expecting someone to come in and make our lives like matter or something like that, when we're thinking our lives are not going to be good until someone is there in it with us, then we put a lot of expectations on that relationship, and we are holding on to it like this, even if it's not the right thing for us, and it just skews the energy all crazy. So what we really want to do is we want to make sure that all of the areas of our life are actually good, right? We want to make sure our health is good. We want to make sure our finances are good. We want to make sure that we like the work that we're doing, and then love is the last part of that, right? But we build a beautiful life that we enjoy, that it's richly satisfying for us, and then we're inviting someone to join us in it. And also that energy of being happy in your life, in a life that you love, is magnetic. And then what you actually have to pay attention to and sort of watch out for are people who kind of want to cozy up into your life, this beautiful, amazing life you've created, without really being worthy of being in it, right? Like they want to kind of, they want to be comfy and bask in your shine without contributing anything, right? So yeah, you want to watch out for that. So anyway, when you do fill up your life with love, you're saying, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of love, and I'm open to love in all forms, right? You stop obsessing really over having someone come into your life, and instead you're just radiating this joy and happiness and contentment, and that's very magnetic. So that's number one, is the right mindset. It's this idea of self-love, self-expression in action, right? So doing the things that make you feel loved, doing the things that make you feel happy and that make you feel like you're expressing yourself the way that you want to. And I'm going to get into more detail about that in just a minute. Secret number 2 is your energy. And a lot of times this has to do with wounds. This has to do with breakup wounds. This has to do with beliefs that we are holding about what's possible for us, or what men are like, or what relationships require, or these kinds of things. Because these things actually shift our aura. They shift our energy. When we still have fear because we're afraid that someone's going to hurt us because someone hurt us before, that's a fear breakup wound that attracts more things for us to be afraid of. When we still have a confusion wound because we don't understand what happened in the relationship before, and so we're always looking for closure and we feel like we can't move on until we get it, we're going to attract things into our life that bring us more confusion. Exactly. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. That's exactly it. That's a really big part of it. And when we feel ashamed, because maybe we were in a situation that wasn't good for us, maybe we stayed too long, maybe we feel like we sort of sold ourselves out a little bit in the last relationship that we were in. Okay, we can heal those things, we can release those things, but we have to address it. Because if we don't, and we have a shame wound, we're going to attract more situations that make us feel ashamed or make us feel embarrassed. Same thing for the grief wound, and same thing for the anger wound. Those are 5 important breakup wounds. So we need to deal with those things in energy, right? And we also want to think of energy beyond just healing our breakup wounds. We want to think about, what does healthy feminine energy mean to us? Because that matters, right? A lot of times, however you want to define feminine energy for yourself, a lot of the women that I work with are wanting to work with their healthy feminine energy. And for them, that means receptivity. That means being able to receive love and not feel like you're having to chase it. That means feeling like the world is a safe place for you, where your needs are going to be met, right? So those are really key components of healthy feminine energy, right? And you're not trying to go out when we've done this energy healing work, when we've healed our beliefs about what's possible for us, and we're not believing things like all men cheat, or there aren't enough men, or all men are online are crazy, or I have to lose a bunch of weight before I date, or I have to wait till my kids go to college before I date, or I can have money but I can't have love, I can't have them at the same time. There are so many limiting beliefs that a lot of times women will have, and they're not true, but they feel true. So that's why they have to be dealt with in energy. That's the realm of energy work, right? So wounds from the past, limiting beliefs. Sometimes we might even have a cord of attachment still to an ex or something like that. That's work that I do also with my clients, is cutting these energetic cords of attachment to other people. So when we deal with the energy stuff, it's very essential, because it's not just about helping us be magnetic, right? It's not just about helping us bring in that new love. It's also about helping us sustain that happy, healthy relationship when it comes in, because we are not responding in the ways that we used to. We're not triggered in the ways that we used to be. And we're not expecting to be treated the way that we were treated before that wasn't good for us, right? It also helps us to recognize good love when it does come in. So we're able to understand and feel on a deep level, on a deep intuitive level. When we've healed, we can tell if the chemistry we're feeling with someone is real or if it's a dysfunctional pattern that just feels familiar to us. Because until we heal those things in energy, what feels like chemistry to us is really just that this other person has the same wounds that we have or the same wounds that an ex had, and that feels familiar to us on a deep subconscious level. So we need to do that healing, and then we'll be able to attract and to recognize what's real and to sustain that relationship when we move into it. It's really important to do that healing. So that's secret number 2, healing. Secret number 3 is where to go, right? So where do we go? We want to choose places that enrich your life and make you feel actually aligned, because it's not like you're going out and you want to go specifically to places where you know that people are looking and all this stuff. You don't want to be in this energy of like meat market energy. It's not good energy. It's not helpful. Very rarely do people actually find somebody that they want to date. And it feels very competitive. It feels very zero sum. It just feels yuck, especially if you're an empath or you're an introvert rather. It feels really yuck to be in that kind of energy where everybody's looking. You're like a singles thing and it's like a big deal, so don't do that. We're not trying to go from strangers to falling in love with somebody. We're trying to go from strangers to friends to potentially falling in love with someone, right? So that's what we're looking at. That's the progression of that. We want to give ourselves time to get to know somebody before we move forward with them, and we want to kind of give ourselves time to see that they are consistent, that their actions are consistent with their words, that they're someone who has integrity. We want to see, like, how do you act when you're stressed out? How do you act when I'm stressed out? Like those kinds of things. We want to give ourselves time to get to know them. And that is a process that's more akin to friendship than to kind of like romance generally. So you want to do activities that you enjoy, where there are other enthusiasts of that hobby, right? Where they all meet up in groups a couple times a month, something like that. So ideas for that are things like, groups that go for hikes, groups that do bird watching, groups that do outdoor activities, right? Because when you're out in nature and you're doing all of that stuff, you've got like a healthy glow. It's really magnetic. You're doing something that you love. The less focused you are on how you think you're coming across, the more vibrant and gorgeous and beautiful you are. The less focused you are on yourself and the more you are on being present, it's like it just shifts your energy entirely and it makes you super magnetic and it lights you up from inside. So that's one of the secrets to like connecting, is that you actually just focus on doing things you love and being fully present while you're doing those things. So other ideas, you can go on paid museum tours, you can go on gallery talks, go to gallery talks rather. If that's your world and you love that, then that's a good thing to do if you're into artists. If you are into people who, if there's a certain kind of lifestyle that you like and you like wine tastings and events at vineyards and stuff like that, that's always a good place to meet people. And those are always mailing lists that you can get on where you can find out about events and stuff like that. And they kind of rely on that, which is great. And you're going to attract sort of like a cultured crowd, right, that you're going to hang out with. Sometimes it's sporting clubs, sporting lessons, things like tennis. Pickleball is huge right now, right? And you're going to attract men who are very social, men who are active, men who consistently invest energy in getting better at something, right? So that's an important thing. Sometimes there are travel groups or day trips, things like that, and you're going to attract people who like adventure and who like sharing that experience with other people, right? And that's going to be a great thing. You can think about community and social spaces like block parties, like fundraisers, cultural festivals, charity fundraisers, those kinds of things. You could host a dinner party where each of your friends brings someone that they are not themselves attracted to, but that they think is a great person. There are these things that I've been seeing lately that I think are wonderful, and there might be a way of doing this online, but it's basically where you introduce a friend. It's almost like you're doing like a not a sales pitch, but kind of for your friend about like why they are dateable and how they're a wonderful person, stuff like that. We can start doing that for each other. Where you hype up your friends, have your friends hype you up and talk about why you're amazing. Why not? It's great. You can be part of a hobby club, like a cycling club or a photography club or a book club, something like that, right? Where you're talking about these different things. And obviously you want those clubs to be co-ed clubs. If you are a woman and you want to be in a relationship with a man, then that's what you want to do, right? So you think about it like that. Don't go to something that's all women if you're trying to meet male friends who may eventually become partners. That's what you want to make sure that they're there. Also, don't overlook industry networking kinds of events, right? So if you're a professional in a particular industry and they have, they have a California chapter and they have conventions or conferences, every year, join those professional groups and go to those conventions, and you're going to meet people who share the same professional goals that you have, who understand your career, understand your ambitions. You're going to meet people who might be able to help you in your career, even if you didn't want to date, and you might be able to help them in their career, even if you didn't want to date. It's just such a good thing to expand your circle, right? With people who are in alignment with you, with what you want to do and where you want to go and who you want to be, who you are becoming. You can be part of an alumni association from your college, from your, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm totally blanking. Alma mater. Thank you. You can join an alumni association and you can, be a part of that. You can go to reunions and stuff like that. My boyfriend, I knew him in high school. We went on one date in high school. But, it's like he was there. So maybe your person went to your high school. And if you go to an alumni event, you might reconnect. It might be great. You might not even be thinking about them now. You might have even completely forgotten about them. Or you may feel like they wouldn't be thinking about you or something like that. And then you run into each other and maybe they did think about you. Maybe they were thinking about you. You never know. You could volunteer for a charity. You could do mentorship work. You could do, service work. You're going to meet really men who are committed to social justice and activism and, really purpose-driven kinds of men. So those are all good things. Are you teasing me, Crystal? Because when I said my boyfriend, it's hard for me to be like, every time I say my boyfriend, I'm like, my boyfriend. I feel like I'm in high school when I say it. Because I'm like, my boyfriend, and we did this, Anyway, yes, love's a great thing, right? It makes us really happy. Secret number 4, what not to do, where not to go. Okay, this is going to seem kind of counterintuitive, but please don't go to spiritual retreats with the intention of meeting someone for a relationship. And the reason for that is that these are men who are in transition. Do not go to spiritual retreats to meet men, because they are men who are in transition. They might be in a midlife crisis. They might be looking for purpose and meaning in their lives, but they are usually not particularly grounded, and they are not usually relationship ready. They are looking for what they need to do next. They may have gotten to a certain point in their life without any real structure or substance, and now the consequences are sort of coming back on them, And so they're trying to figure out some kind of a path, right? They need the time and the space to figure themselves out. They don't need to be taking up your time and energy. Let them be on their journey and bless them and wish them well. And hopefully the right person will come into their lives at the right time, and that's great. Also, obvious, right? Bars, not a great place to be, because bars are for people who are trying to forget about their problems. And generally, frequenting bars actually adds to their problems, or at least prevents them from being able to create the kind of life that would make them not feel like they had to run from it or hide from it, right? Clubs, great for having fun, not great for starting relationships. You can't really even hear or talk to anybody in a club. And you generally are around the type of mindset of people who are very like women who are fighting over men, like really competitive about men, or there's a lot of, it's a very meat markety kind of vibe in terms of like feeling like you're being sized up for your body, like are you a good sexual partner, those kinds of things. So it's really it's something fun in your 20s if you're into that. It's not something when you're in your late 30s, when you're in your early 40s. We don't even want to do that. We're not even like trying to go out and do all that. We're not really like interested in leaving the house to get dressed to go out someplace super late on like a work night and be around a bunch of strangers and not be able to sit down and stuff like that. It's just, there's nothing about that sounds fun to us usually when we're like in our late 30s to early 40s. We're just like, nah, pass. So not good places, right? All right. So quick recap. If you are tired of ghosting, if you are tired or being ghosted rather, if you're tired of like endless texts that don't go anywhere, of men trying to turn conversations sexual too soon, men who aren't taking the initiative. If you're tired of all of these things, the solution is not to try harder, right? The solution is to shift your mindset, to shift your energy, to know where to go and choose that wisely, and to know what to avoid and not spend your time in those places and in those circles. So remember, you don't make love happen, you make love welcome. And one of the big ways that you can do that is by addressing your energy. Really often when I'm working with clients and we do this energy and mindset work together, what they see is that they don't have to go online. The person comes into their life in one of three ways after they've done the energy work. One is that it's somebody from your past and they come back, and maybe at the time that you knew each other, you didn't feel the chemistry or the connection, or maybe you were each with other people or something like that. Now you're both free, unencumbered, able to be with each other, and you feel the chemistry, you feel the spark, right? So someone from your past. The second is it's someone in your current life, and as soon as you do the healing and the energy work, it kind of shifts your vision, so you're able to see them in a way that you weren't before, or they're able to see you in a way that they weren't able to before. And the third way is that you're usually introduced by someone you didn't know you had in common. So there was like a mutual friend, or there was, a family member, somebody like that, like a member of your family is a friend of theirs, something like that, right? So those are a lot of the ways that actually the person comes into your life when you just do the energy work and the mindset work. And it doesn't have to be super hard to do those things. You can actually get started for free with the energy work part of it by going to theheartachecure.com and downloading the ebook, which will help you address and heal the breakup wounds. That helps you to look at those things. You can also take that a step further, and you can get the audio healing program so that you can help to clear those things out of your energy while you sleep. It's a slightly deeper level of healing, and you can feel shifts, as early as the next day. And the last thing that you might consider doing, that sounds weird, like this is the last thing you want to do. That's not what I mean. A third thing that you may consider doing is that you may consider reaching out to do a free introductory session with me, and you can do that at soullovesession.com. You can schedule a Find My Soulmate Now session with me, and we will be able to get crystal clear on exactly what you want from love and what that relationship looks like for you. We'll be able to identify the exact obstacles that have been holding you back and help you feel really energized about moving forward and having your person come into your life in close to the end of 2025, early 2026. If you start now, that's usually what we see. So you don't make love happen, you make love welcome. And I'll see you next time. Bye.